Sinclair. I hope your ship is well. That only Jolly Roger has been through hell. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. In the heat digital high seas, we travel with ease until we reach the outer edge and freeze. The Arctic chill like a very steep hill through the darkness led by our will. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. Beyond the outer limits of society, broadcasting the reality. The pirates will always steal the show. From WPRPN, you know. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. Docked our vessels in the Skullport Harbor. No land lovers will fight for you harder. Your old first mate went AWOL after a drinking kill haul. The legacy of pirate radio is strong. I hope our mates will come along. The changes we seek may not be long. That is why I wrote this song. And we go ho ho, on adventure we go.
Welcome everybody, friends, folks, foes, and fellow pirate mateys to yet another weekly edition of World Pirate Radio News. It's show segment number 317, this year's 2025 special edition of Buddha's birthday and more. So, my name, as always, of course, the ship's Chief Communications Officer Jaffe Ryder, WPRPN.com, the website we will direct your attention to. Encourage everyone to take advantage of the free sign-up we have in place. Email address, username, password, standard fare, as with most websites and platforms. All you need to become a member. Half of all of our donations go directly back to charity as well too. Hashtag WRHD, what would Robin Hood do? And the way that comes about is through our email address, pirate1radio at protonmail.com, via PayPal. Well, maybe that too. PayPal, places like PayPal, where if you take advantage of connecting with us using the email, you can manage to stay in the loop with the rest of the network, along with suggesting any potential upcoming Friday night feature show guests or shows you'd like to see us produce. So, liking, commenting, sharing, remembering to hit subscription notification buttons. Really helpful to little independent underground live streaming pirate shows such as ourselves. Very much appreciated. Passing word along to friends, family, and co-workers. We've got merchandise online, pirate swag via places like Teespring, TeePublic, and GalacticFire.com. courtesy of the ever so talented and creative Sonny Galactic. So, more, I guess, to the point as to what we referenced earlier, Buddha's birthday. Taking probably try to focus as best we can the first part of the show on the basics of Buddhism, the impact, implications of what many know as Buddha Dharma had not only on the eastern part of the world for now several thousand years, but more recently across the West as well, having significant reverberations, and I would argue, for good reason. It's high time. So, special emphasis on Buddhism, Korea, and the Silk Roads. We'll do our best to connect the dots while providing a few answers, whether geographical, historical, cultural, or otherwise. So there we go. I think that pretty much does as far as an introduction is concerned. We've got, let's not forget, digital means to help us out as well. So if you're so inclined, folks, very much appreciate any Bitcoin support, or places like Mines and elsewhere where people can help give us a bit of a boost. Once again, half of everything we do manage to generate goes back to the grassroots. It's what the Buddhists refer to as dana, as in donation. If you look at the root etymology of that word, there's something going on there, I would argue. Donor, donation, dana, what have you. So I guess the Sanskrit basically is what we'd be looking at there. But thankfully, we do have. I think we lose Vinny. We had Vinny from Brooklyn, who was with us here. He may have dropped out for some peculiar reason, so that's quite odd. He was all raring to go. But we'll fire this up one more time and see if we can connect with him or anyone else. It's teams that we're working with here this week. I'm assuming that Skype has now, for the most part, gone by the wayside. So, Vinny, we've got you back, do we?
Yeah, I'm back.
What
my
happened
PC
there?
burped. It burped and restarted. I couldn't find a link to get back in. So
okay.
Thanks. Hey, Sonia. More sausage party.
Sonia. A little taco flavor to the sausage stew mix. That's right.
Arriba.
Never beat that. But let's not. Out of respect for Buddha's birthday, we'll try. I'm going to try to dial down the cheekiness.
Yes.
The way that I can so often go about unleashing and unloading.
Indeed. Hey, Roger.
Do we got where Roger answered the call this go round too? Did he? So
Roger the doctor.
Did you not hear it? We tried to connect with you just a few minutes ago. You didn't.
Yeah, I know. It just it came on and then it blinked right off. It just kind of vanished. Like this time when you did it, I had enough time to actually join.
Oh, well, there. That's Teams for you. So who knows what's going? Is it just us or is it Teams? Skype has now apparently gone by the wayside. But as what we were referencing just a few moments ago, for the most part, the first part of today's live stream is going to be all about Buddha Dharma. We're going to mute out Christian. It looks like he showed up there, but he may have been arranging a few things on his desk or whatnot. So the noise was bleeding through, just to let folks know. So hopefully he can find the unmute button when he wants to connect with us here through audio. And feel free to do that anytime if you're ready. Christian Laterre via Alberta, Canada. And we would like to get into that whole Alberta, Canada business, that Saskatchewan. who knows? Is BC going to be included as well as far as this breakaway um, uh, agenda? Really, what is a fulfillment of the so-called manifest destiny of
Well, what's that
America?
all about, eh?
Are you familiar? Are you up to speed with the whole manifest destiny? 5440 or fight, President Polk, how that all came about back in the day, Vinny. Without getting too sidetracked here, because we do really want to keep our sights focused on.
Well, familiar,
Yeah,
but to tell you the truth, Jeff, they lied about so much stuff. I barely trust the history that I've been told.
that's a good point. There you go. That's right. Yeah. What is it? It's the winners of wars who write the histories, and that
Indeed.
I fully concur with. Uh, there's a great shot. We're talking during the preview of Greco Buddhism. It was one of the Hercules slide there that people may see coming up now via one of the platforms, whether it's YouTube, DLive, Facebook, Home Network.tv. Let's not forget about them, or Telegram once we get it live streaming momentarily. Give full credit to Panyabasa Bhikkhu, aka simply David. He's a friend and sidekick of Brian Ruse, actually, someone who spent, I think it was 30 years of altogether, 30 years as a monk. Is everyone up to speed on Panyabasa Bhikkhu? His life story to this point, 30 years dedicated to life in an East Asian, Southeast Asian monastery, the Theravadan tradition, which differs from the Mahayana and finally the Vajrayana. So if people are not clear on that, it's the Theravadan is the way of the elders, as in interestingly therapeutic or therapy. Remember Jesus the healer, of course. Could that possibly be? And there was a group, there wasn't a very esoteric, these days not so very well known sect known as the Therapeutae, if people want to look that one up. And they were all about healing and helping people, which is central to the Buddhist ethos, that you aim kind of when you're to help people. If they're suffering, there's a Zen expression talks about how if one is hungry, you feed them. If they're thirsty, you provide them with something to drink. If they're tired, needing a place to rest, you offer them accommodations. Now, be careful of, I would warn right off the top, idiot compassion for anyone who's thinking of, maybe, because without the use of what's known as skillful means or practical wisdom, just as humans, we have these abilities to discern and to judge and to weigh and assess. That skillful means, practical wisdom, very secular. There's no gods or Buddhas or nothing, and you can still practice skillful means and practical wisdom, no problem at all, as far as I'm circumcised. So, but the Therapeutae, yeah, this ancient Near East, I think they were active in places such as Alexandria, Egypt, and beyond. You can just imagine, because this is during the rise of Mahayana Buddhism, which is very much in my mind, I'm sure the view and the eyes of many who have studied much more than myself. Not that everyone agrees necessarily, but this impact that Greco Buddhism, going back to the Hercules slide, had in shaping since the time of Alexander the Great up to Ashoka, the Emperor Ashoka, and beyond, right up to Mani, in fact, the founder of Manichaeism. Another was syncretic or synthetic. They talk about religious syncretism. Well, Mani was all about that. I'm not sure, maybe Roger or somebody else here would like to look up Mani or Manichaeism. this syncretic religion that was quite popular up until he ended up, well, even when he was martyred, had his head chopped off and placed on a pike, I guess is how the story goes, outside the gates of Tehran, if I believe, if I've got my facts straight. But Augustine, Saint Augustine, the great Catholic Saint Augustine, was for quite a number of years a practicing Manichaean, and then he kind of defected. He became an apostate, and really rose throughout the ranks of the Catholic Church. I guess they made him an offer he couldn't refuse, and then turned on the Manichaeans. I guess he knew all their inner workings and secrets, as it were, where they were located, and what made them tick, their inner psyche, how to best get to them and put them out of business, essentially. Have them taken out of commission. And that's exactly what he was tasked to do by the church, is kind of how the story goes. And they were ruthless, waging war on the Manichaeans, killing quite a few, as memory serves. And let's not forget, this is the story of the church historically, right? Catholic Church, any heretics or people like the Gnostics, or the word heretic too, for people that are not aware, it just means to choose. Hetesis. It's a Greek term, I believe, Koine Greek. That's what we really ought to be looking at and reflecting upon. It was the vernacular of its day, is how the story goes, throughout Eastern Mediterranean, Near East Asia, places like modern day Palestine. You notice I didn't say Israel. Modern day Palestine, Lebanon, even Syria and so forth. Why? So I guess it was international. It was an international language, the English of its day, that was very, helpful in when engaging and embarking upon trade with various other parties from whatever region of the world these traders and travelers were visiting or connecting with. So, but I'm not sure. I guess we. I don't know if anyone has any questions or not. I guess I'll bring up the screen share. I've got to actually, you know what? I've got to do a few things. I'm going to mute myself out. I'll try to. Got to bring up the Facebook. Got to also bring up the Telegram. If anyone wants to jump in, take over, and then we'll take care of this.
I'll talk about Signal, Jaffe, while you do all that.
Go ahead.
Signal,
sure.
Signal got hacked yesterday, guys.
What's Signal?
I don't know if you heard this. Well, it actually wasn't Signal itself. I believe it's called Telemessenger, an offshoot of a Signal app used by the White House. Yes, this came out yesterday.
This isn't the first time either, is it?
Well, it's not, but it's the first I've heard of this instance anyway. This happened yesterday.
Israel obviously didn't have anything to do with it, did they? We've talked about this is what they said, and so no. Did you hear about the special envoy? And do you think this has anything to do with why perhaps it was hacked? Signal.
I'll say that there's a big itch to start a war so that the scumbags can escape with their ill-gotten goods, and I don't believe it's going to work this time. They're panicking very heavily, Jeff. Did you see that Trump is reopening Alcatraz today?
You're kidding. And that's Alcatraz in order to put for special people. So it's no longer a tour. It's no longer a tourist attraction. It's actually,
dude. As far as I know, no one's ever broken out of Alcatraz, right? Wow. So let's see it keep that reputation, huh?
I love that. Oh, jeez. Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's great. He's thinking outside the box, isn't he?
I've been trolling, man. That's how we went.
So he's seriously doing this. Alcatraz is being relaunched as a genuine a penitentiary for real, criminals that
Oh,
have been
yes.
serious criminals that have been sentenced to serious. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they're reopening mental hospitals, at least in New York and probably all over.
Wonder if Hunter Biden's going to end up in Alcatraz.
That'd be something, wouldn't it?
But carry on. I've got a multitask here behind the scenes, so.
Oh yeah, so I put in a PayShoot. I've been playing around with some of the apps. So BitChute has this new thing called PayShoot. I actually have 200 tokens of what I don't know, right? But I now have 3 articles in there. This one is about the signal. Have hacking, and it's quite in depth there. So I'm going to put that in the DLive chat as well, so people can get to it and take a look. See what I found. Oh, and
thank you for reminding us that it's people like you that help to inspire people like me who are pretty lazy when it comes right down to it. But because I've seen this PayShoot thing around for a while, so if you can kind of walk me through what I get what it is and how it functions, then I'd be more inclined to engage and work on taking the time, making the effort to incorporate it into the wider operation here. Yeah.
Sure, we can take a look at that. Yeah. That would be just dandy. So let me see what else. I think I put it in twice.
Fine and dandy. So how you doing? It's all fine and dandy. Whoever really has been at the same time, both fine and dandy. You can be fine, but can you also be dandy? So I'm paraphrasing Carl, and he did a much better job than me. It's much funnier the way he does it. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, but you know how it goes. Is that you, Roger? Yeah. So Roger. Yeah. So Roger, how you been anyway, guy? Everything good?
I'm having some issues.
Are you?
Yeah, give me a second.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get all of this sorted out. I'm wanting to do a stream on here with but it's not really working out the way I want it to.
There's a problem with OBS or some other part.
Well, the issue with me is I've started using Rumble Studios, and they give you an ingress address to where you can use your OBS through it. But the only issue that I have is OBS is real tricky with the audio. So I've got to make sure that it's not doing crazy shit like it's doing right now.
Gotcha.
Are you hoping to simulcast? Is that the idea? You're hoping to pick up our feed and send it out to your audience members in real live time?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Right.
Let me just, while you're doing that, and we've got a few things going here as far as the Telegram is up and running for people who'd like to check that out. You can easily access the URL through the show description, end of things. Facebook, we've got happening in real life time. Once again, YouTube. Hopefully, don't run into any censorship issues over there. You notice DLive and HomeNetwork.tv. Let's not forget them. Much appreciate the support that they've been, providing us with, and hope to do our best in returning the favor in one, one sort or the next. So, Jane Fair chiming in here via the comment end of things. I'm not sure if it's a statement or a question. Buddha just isn't for me? Question mark. So, but we're definitely going to hell, because of that now, aren't you? So yeah. But no, I
Oh my
mean,
God.
cult of
That's
person.
rotten, dude. That is so rotten.
Well, she is. If you don't accept Buddha as your one true Lord and Savior, you're definitely going to hell. I'm telling you right now. That's the way it
Well,
works, right?
it's the it's the sexually oppressive part of it that really scares people.
All right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay. Just before we carry on any further, Jane, I'm joking. Okay. It's a tongue in cheek. I'm being very
Oh,
facetious. You're
that's
fine.
better.
Just yeah.
That's better.
Roger, did you actually believe me? You thought that was being literal?
No.
Well, you
No.
weren't using your facetious voice.
Yeah. So
No,
okay.
I mean, seriously,
hmm
I didn't believe you were
But I would
serious.
like to bring up some criticism. So you're right, and this is why we hope that Robert Morningstar would join us because he similarly to you, takes a kind of jaded eye view to Buddhism. I said it in air quotes as it were. You could say Buddha Dharma. That's another way. And he claims, I want to find out what his story is exactly. My take, the way he explained it to me yesterday, it seemed almost as if he was straw manning. Uh, Interestingly, with his attack. And this is quite something coming from someone who claims to be a longtime practicing Taoist. Buddhism and Taoism throughout the course of Chinese, East Asian, largely, and throughout across the Silk Roads, starting largely during the time of the Han Dynasty. That's when this Mahayana business really took off in earnest, right around the period of Jesus and his missing years. Yeah. That they, as it was moving from India to the east, and they met with Taoists. Taoists met with the people out, monks largely on the road, proselytizing, working to promote and spread the Buddha Dharma, and they actually were very compatible. There was very minimal conflict or uh, problems between the two of them. Rather, they worked to blend and to synchronize, and that's, I think, the product of what we see in places like Zen, and the various elements throughout the Mahayana experience is have, like, I was just looking today, for example, at this meme. I think we got it in the slideshow, dealing with. There's a great shot of the Viking trade routes, the Viking Silk Roads. Let's not forget, and ask ourselves once again, why is it that so much emphasis on trade from west to east, or at least from India to the east, and not the opposite, not from India to the west? That's speaking of dark ages and the like. But this Taoist meme talking essentially about how form is emptiness, emptiness form, which I'd have to see the meme again, essentially. But that's the Heart Sutra. That's one of the basic teachings of the Heart Sutra. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. I mean, so that's certainly something worth reflecting upon. I know I often do on a daily basis. I'm constantly reminded of this as we move throughout our lives, time and space, this human experience of ours. So, Robert, maybe he will show up before the shows. And let's hear from you, though, your criticism, because he was kind of lashing out this. The one thing he said Shinto. He said the greatest evil of the 20th century, which to me was like, it floored me. It was mind-boggling. But I'm still open, though, to, from a quasi pseudo-intellectual perspective. That's really all I consider myself at best. Uh, Hearing him out and then offering a rebuttal, because this hasn't been my experience. Shinto, I don't know. I don't know the history there exactly. The esoteric, the Green Men or the Green Dragon Society, which if you read the Spear of Destiny, I think is the book. I should remember the author's name, but the first book was great, and then he had a sequel which is just terrible. Uh, but look that up, The Spear of Destiny, and see if we can track down the author's name. He talked about, this is where I first learned about it, I think it was the Green Dragon Society, that the Nazis, and anyone that's looked into it will be aware that the Nazis were mountaineering, adventuring, exploring, traveling throughout the East, Tibet in particular, seeking out if they were able to, discover the ancient origins of the Aryan race. And by the way, this Aryanism, did you know that the Four Noble Truths, the core essence, uh, fundamental, essential teachings you find in all versions of Buddhism, the noble is actually Aryan. And if you don't believe me, just look at they're called the Aryas, the four Aryas, Aryan truths. And the formal Sanskrit, I'm not clear on. People once again have to look that up, but I find it very interesting that and we should be very much aware anytime we see. I can almost bring the camera up shortly here too, folks, in case you're wondering. Just I don't often like to go on camera because I think it's a little overrated, and it's also it's problematic. But I don't mind, since hooking up with Robert and just the past year in particular. It's like, all right, here we go. Take here's your eye candy, ladies. Woohoo! Yeah, eat it up. So, and then
Get her done.
critics bashing. What's that?
Get her done.
Yeah. What the hell, Sonya Galactic thumbs down? Hey man, what's that all about?
That's supposed to be your lady, dude, and she's all doing that. That's horrible.
She bailed on us too. She must be really pissed. I mean, who knows? So I couldn't quite tell you. I am going to consult the I Ching here, though, within shortly. Maybe when we get offline, do a little more guitar practice. That's how I like to spend my free time. I've been really trying to decompress, do a lot of street busking and so forth, and meditation too, man. It's like you got meditation, and then you have medication. And I so often try to remind people of, it's not a coincidence that those two words are the similarity between the two. There's a reason, but it's just it goes over most people's heads. We don't stop to think about these things. So, and like most of us, because we're all here to try to learn and get a clear, maybe deeper sense of why where we've come from, why we're here, where we're going. I've even had Christian, well, I'm not sure what kind of Christianity type folks kind of make that similar type statement or argument. And even though it's interesting, because it's George Harrison was all about that very thing himself, and coming at the whole issue from a what he was like a Hare Krishna kind of guy, wasn't he? So, and I've kind of got tangled in the weeds here. I kind of wandered off into I don't know where. Which was there a key point that was being made earlier that anyone would like me to revisit or flesh out, that kind of went over your heads? That
Well, it didn't go over my head, but
criticize. Let's hear the criticism again. I want to hear it.
The one part that you mentioned that I think would be cool to go back over is
Sure.
Something we had talked about before in the past about the Greeks, how they encountered what would later be called the Buddhists whenever Alexander was going into India. I thought that was a pretty good aspect, because A lot of people don't realize that just because books say this is how old Buddha is doesn't necessarily mean that's the case.
Yeah, or not. So yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, we got Alan on board and Christian here as well. I'm not sure what they have to contribute to this portion of the conversation. Once again, we're going to be transitioning more to the meat and potatoes news end of this week's conversation in the second half mostly. But welcome, gentlemen. Amos, glad you could make it. I saw your comment in the peanut gallery. I was trying to, suss out how we could get you on board. Great that you.
Yeah, Sonya's looking out to join the meeting.
And Christian out of Alberta, Canada. That's right. Go ahead, Alan, and then over to Christian.
Yeah. I just found out, I think it was Roger put a comment there somewhere that just meet now sort of thing, and then it comes up, and yeah, well, here I am. Hey. Hello, folks. G'day, Roger.
Hey, how you doing?
Christian, Captain Sinclair.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to talk about the whole Buddha Dharma thing or your show or what exactly. Do you want to introduce yourself to new listeners that might not have any idea who Amos Dale 777 actually is?
I'm just a bloke from Australia that does a bit of a news show once every now and then, once a week sort of thing. And as far as the Buddhist type thing concerns, I'm all ears. I'm listening. So it sounds very interesting. Don't know a lot about it, but hey,
Good. Yeah. And that's the thing is like a number of our listeners they'll self-identify more as Christians, pagans, atheist, agnostic, but hopefully people are at least somewhat open-minded and are willing to how complicated is it? Look, you've got change, suffering, and desire. Okay. Remember that, folks. And people say, "Oh, well, Buddhism superstitious." That's a common criticism you hear. And my retort or rebuttal is, "Well, change, suffering, and desire is that superstitious? I don't think so. Look at how those three are connected.
Sounds like human nature.
Well, the human condition, yeah. And then also you've got birth, sickness, old age, and death. Birth, sickness, old age, and death. Is that superstitious or is that empirical scientific fact? I think we all know the answer. So that's another sort of retort or kind of.
Well, from my findings, man, I've been finding out that Buddhism is the opposite of freaking what everybody's making it out to be. It's very, very disciplined, and like Christianity has nothing compared to freaking discipline when it comes to religions like Buddhism does.
How so?
I mean,
how so?
Because people who actually are Buddhists and they practice the teachings, they put themselves through a lot of discipline. You know what I mean?
In what manner? Yeah.
Well, for one thing, when it comes to samsara, that's a real good example. You'll hear a lot of people who claim to be Buddhists that are talking about escaping samsara, and they really don't have an understanding what that really is. You know what I mean? Like, you can't escape samsara.
Well, the matrix, if you will. Have you heard? Are you familiar with the expression "samsara is nirvana"? Nirvana is samsara.
Mm-hmm. I actually haven't gotten into the nirvana part because I heard that was like a fringe Buddhist.
No. You can't. It's like kind of the good and evil, or these. You can't have one without the other, male, female, yin yang, right? So
yeah.
And let me just to cap this off briefly, mentioning this business of good and evil. That's the so-called Semitic or monotheistic religions like Judaism, so-called Christianity, and Islam. They tend to emphasize or frame things in that manner, good versus evil. Whereas the Buddha Dharma, including the Hindus, from what I understand, it's more a question of mental clarity versus mental confusion. So it's just your mind, confusion versus clarity. So what they're trying to say there is when you act, what one side of the equation, looking at from things from one, the Semitic or monotheistic tradition perspective you would see as evil is actually mental confusion, whereas good manifests more as like you're acting out and engaging in your life through means of mental clarity. Is that
Mhm.
is that am I being clear enough? I don't know. So hopefully it's not too complicated or difficult to understand. That's how the story goes, though, isn't it? I find it very interesting, though. Just the framing good versus evil on the one side, as compared to Buddha, Dharma, Eastern traditions, um, clarity versus confusion. And is it also something like let your conscience be your guide? And eudaimonia, for crying out loud, within the context of the Greco-Buddhist 900 years. This is according to scholars too. I'm not just making this stuff up. Look into it, folks. Why do we not hear anything about this Greco-Buddhism? Why is it missing from the historic academic record in so many ways? And why is that Viking they call Oosterwerk? That's something else I would suggest we investigate. Oostweg, West Road or West Way. Why has that been erased? It's interesting. Oh, damn, I wish I remembered the name. It starts with a V, I believe, but the Constantinople, the Eastern, what is it, the Eastern Empire. I'm sorry. Well, no, that'd be the West, wouldn't it? That they had. There's a special Viking security team, basically. I wish I did.
Berserkers.
Kind of like that. Yeah, they were kind of like that. If that's Christian? Yeah, and so they got.
Hey,
yeah.
Check Sonia. She wants to get in and she doesn't know the.
She's
been thinking that you're going to go on Jitsi.
Oh no, not for this. Maybe for the. Maybe for the Friday night feature shows, we'll do that. So let me just. Oh, bloody hell. Why can't she get back in? She was here. She was in the room. She should just call it up.
Hold on a minute.
So, yeah, Jeffy, I wondered about that. We can just call you if we get disconnected, and we can get back on. Is that right?
God, I don't know. This is Teams. It's a new kind of deal, isn't it? So
right. That's true.
Isn't it a case of that join meeting or something like that up the top?
Hang on, I think I might be able. I've got it covered here. So go ahead, guys. And I'm going to bring the screen share up here momentarily as well, so you can get on camera. I think we just tried to add her. Yeah. It's calling. It says it's calling. So this is quite something. Things are going all goofy here as far as. Okay, I'm going to switch over.
No.
There we go. We got her on board.
Guys, I got lost. I couldn't figure out how to get back in. It was so scary.
Oh. All right.
That's just insane.
It's every man's worst nightmare. Got lost. I ended up slipped on out. Couldn't find my way back in. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the call, bro.
Yeah. All right. Let's see now. Let's see if we can get this. I don't know what is going on. Why that's coming up in that way. That's weird.
Seems like the audio is a lot better in Teams.
Am I sounding okay? I don't know. Like, because it's just yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the audio just meshes together better.
Interesting.
Okay, so let's get all that good positive stuff about Teams. Okay, we're not happy. Teams suck. Teams suck.
I was going to invite
Come on now. Well, I mean,
actually, this is interesting. I'm looking at screen share right now, but it's a little off. Like what you can share, you can't tag everybody in the groups. Is one thing. Oh, what the
How
hell?
do I invite Mark in? Mark Wasajek.
We'd have to add
Can
him.
you do that, Roger?
Nope.
I can't add nobody on here. This is
There we
all
go.
Jeffy stuff.
Now we're talking. There we go.
Okay. Let me figure out how to do it.
Well, I'll tell you what we got to do is we'd have to drop somebody and then bring him.
Oh, we only have 6 people?
Well, you're only allowed. Here's one thing. Another thing with teams, you're only allowed 20 people in a room, whereas Skype, it was. I mean, you look at Skullport Harbor or the Green Room, like there was 80 some people. I'm not sure what they're gonna do if that does that only apply to calls or is that just rooms as a whole?
I don't know.
20.
It's the rooms, and if you notice too, just so you know ahead of time, up on top with that countdown, that's how much time you have in the stream. So
it's about to end.
38. You have 30. It goes to 1 hour. So
okay.
Oh, that's a great opportunity. That's fine. We'll cut away to commercial break.
Yeah. So whenever you do your commercial and everything, freaking you go out and then you restart the call and there.
Yeah.
But that's what Mark's been dealing with.
That's why Jitsy's a better deal. That's one criticism for sure. Because Jitsi there's no limits on time. Is that right, Sonia?
No, not that I know of.
It's open sourced. Nope. And can you screen share over there?
Yeah, got all that.
With audio as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is hey, it's always great to have a backup, right? So, but you're right. I wouldn't mind. And people don't. You don't have to sign up. You just sign in. Is that right? Isn't that right, Sonia? You just as long as you have the link. As long as you have the link.
Yeah, you don't even have to sign in. You can just make your name whatever you want it to be, and come on in.
We have to do is through Teams when for example, Roger, you can do the same. Is just when you're promoting your like a weekly show. Actually, you do more than how many shows you do a week now? Like you're just
500.
Oh come on, no, you do like
it's a lot. It's.
Do you do more than one a day?
No, that would be porn if I did freaking more than one a day. So I keep it limited 5 streams a week, and then today and yesterday are my days off, and I usually play video games on those days.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, all right. I can't bring myself around to doing the whole video game thing anymore. My video game is music. Video games. Alan, dude, you like? I wouldn't mind if I Alan, you play video games? You do like PlayStation?
Never got into games.
I see. But I would, if I dropped by, like if I was hanging out with Roger, I would, okay, fire it up. Let's see. Show me some tricks. All right, yeah. But
yeah, I did play. I did play. What was it? What's that? Raiders the Raiders of the Lost Ark game or something? Or back in the day.
Oh
yeah, I played that once, but just lost interest real quick. I'd rather actually talk to people and create stuff.
Was that PlayStation or
Nintendo? PlayStation, something like that. Was it?
Yeah, okay.
Tomb Raider?
Tomb
Raider.
Tomb Raider, yeah.
Okay, so we've only got, we got 20 minutes, basically, and they're going to cut us off. We're going to shut the call down. So any more Buddha Dharma stuff that people have questions about, they would like to say, that includes criticisms, doesn't faze me. Try to be rational, of course. If you can manage that, which I think most can here. We don't have too many yellers or people,
Yeah, DK's not here.
Yeah, screamers. So just the one endless, just temper tantrum, one temper tantrum upon the next. So, but Roger made a really great point. I thought you're talking, and this is similar to what Robert had talked about. He's like, it numbs it numbs your consciousness. So there's no good or bad. There's no good or evil. Even though there are 5 precepts, it says, you don't kill. This is simple stuff too, isn't it? Don't kill, don't steal, don't lie, don't mess around on your partner. if you're not a monk, right? You don't know adultery. It kind of says that, these things in the Bible, I think, too, doesn't it? And finally, no intoxicants, alcohol in particular, weed,
Yeah.
because Buddha was apparently, he was Indo-European, interestingly, as was Bodhidharma, the famous Zen kind of patriarch, founder of the whole Zen tradition. Even in like these ancient Chinese texts, it talks about him having blue eyes. He was the blue-eyed barbarian. So what the Chinese, how it depicted him in an ancient Chinese text. So, but he was Scythian.
Yeah.
Buddha was Scythian. And I'm pretty sure he was Sogdian as well. That's where you have Soka. They call him here Soka Muni. And there's a lot of interesting Korea connection here. I've looked at and investigated, and it's profound, because you find it going all the way to a place I'm not too far from at present. You have this ancient royal dynasty and lineage. They get driven out, and then on the third time where they're pushed out by the rival Shilla out kingdom, the Prince Shotoku circles around, goes to Japan, and that's where he works on launching, promoting, spreading Japanese Buddhism becomes the thing. So, and this is Prince Shotoku, who was of what clan? Soka.
Shotoku.
It was called, his name was Shotoku, and his clan name was Soka. Soka. Of, like, the Soka, they call him here in Korea Soka Muni, like Shakyamuni, Soka Muni. So the Soka, Shakya, and it's just I just connect the dots. It's interesting, and they were avid traders as well. So yeah.
With me, what I've been finding about a lot of that is there's a lot of history that they're trying to get rid of over in that area, like especially when it comes to Pakistan and India, because well, first of all, even on YouTube and stuff, they used to have videos where they would show where red-headed Buddhas were depicted on cave walls or murals and stuff, and they would scratch out their faces.
Yes,
see what I mean?
Yes, sure, of course.
You go on YouTube and try to find them, even just on YouTube, and you can't find them anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
They're vanishing off of the internet, even where they don't even want to show those. There's an old documentary that first turned me on to it.
Yeah.
And
Tocharian, the mummies of the Silk Roads, the Tocharian mummies, I think, the red-headed mummies of the Taklamakan Desert, and with their kind of it looks like Scottish kilts is what they're wearing, like embroidered leggings, basically, and clothes.
Indo-European, right there, all of it. I mean, have you ever heard of the World Tree?
World Tree?
Yeah.
Like Yggdrasil?
Like Yggdrasil, yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
What about it?
I thought somebody was going to say something.
Oh, the Bodhi tree too.
Yeah.
Buddha Bodhi tree, right?
I've been finding out like connections with the World Tree, Yggdrasil, with the Vikings, but then also you go and you look at all of the cultures that go from the Black Sea all the way across the Russian steppe. And you'll see different cultures that actually believed in this World Tree, all the way to India.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen the depiction of, is it Ceranos? I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's got the antlers, but then you find him sitting in a sort of like a lotus position with his legs crossed. And so I think his hands has he got his hands up like this, or are they down in his lap? But it's interesting. He's sitting in the lotus position, and there might be even deer. Are there deer around him? And there was no actual ancient early depiction of Buddha at all. There was no iconography other than what years after his death, and this all came. A lot of it came out of Gandhara, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I'm no expert in much of this at all. There are people out there. It'd be really great to have on board at some point. Monks, essentially, that have studied these things, and you can find different videos that go into these matters in greater detail. But Gandhara, that's in fact where there was a Viking horde. Speaking of the Viking Silk Roads, that was found way up in northwest. I think it was Sweden. Oh, yeah, the Viking horde of Helgo, Helgo, and they found, of all things, in this great Viking stash of treasure, Buddha statue. That the scholars, experts said, well, clearly this is how they made them in Gandhara, way back here in northwest India, and that was the region that Alexander had passed through and said to have left quite an impression and exerted an influence on. So yeah, Gandhara is really cool. And then you got even way older places like Mohenjo-daro and so forth. So, but yeah, Ashoka as well, like I said earlier, just really kind of central, because he was someone who promoted proselytization, something that's not done these days at all. Like, you don't have Buddhists going around knocking on your door or preaching in the way that, like, they'll have Dharma talks. So, like, if you want to go to a Buddhist center just of your own kind of free will and accord, check it out, then fine. Like, you'll see, like, they're talking about one thing or the next. Like, there's a theme and a focus usually. So, but Ashoka was a proselytizer, though, definitely. Similar to the way that, and Christ sending the disciples out to all various directions, which I think they drew lots, did they not? North, south, east, and west. And Thomas, like, if you look into it, folks, you'll see there's the scholars, academics, do talk about these similarities, the overlap between so-called Christianity and Buddhism, which came, let's not forget, around 500 some odd years earlier. So to think that it didn't have an impact or influence, that's really to miss the point. Some radicals, I guess, fundamentalists, will go so far as to say that Christianity just emerged out of a vacuum entirely, and there was no outside influence whatsoever. But it was this new thing that came along, right? With Christ, and they muddied the waters, though, totally. As like with the politics of the Sanhedrin and beyond, there's no doubt the muddying of the waters. What more can a person say? I don't know. Let's criticize it a little more. We got a few more minutes, 10 minutes to criticize and bash. Make the
So
Nietzsche, negation of the will. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
What about the whole thing about being sexually repressed?
Right.
And
well, you take that energy and transform it, don't you? You offer it as you take that, you raise it from the lower chakras up all through the crown, and just you send it out. That's the bodhisattva, unless you're Theravada, which I think is more focused on just yourself. You're trying to liberate free yourself from the wheel of rebirth. Which is the goal in Buddhism. First, it's really to make friends with yourself. Yoga, right? You got to
shoot straight out of your chakra, straight out of the crown.
Yeah.
When you transpire or transition, and then apparently and do it fast, apparently.
Rainbow body? You're talking about death? Rainbow body? Rainbow
body, I think, is a little bit different. This is just what is it? Isabella Green says about escaping the death trap.
Is that who you want to get on our show?
We come lie to you.
Yeah, that's the girl. Get her lined up if you would. That's
Yeah. She might be difficult, but we'll see. I mean, she's pretty popular these days.
Oh, good.
So you know.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you tell her. You
But
tell her
you're-
we can help to make her even more popular. And we'll do everything we
Exactly.
can.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Roger, go ahead. 7 minutes.
No, when it comes to that whole thing, I heard of stories about people who used to sit themselves in a vat of oil, dude, in the scorching hot freaking sun, so that they can have their freaking testicles shrivel and freaking fall off.
Who did this? This is ridiculous.
Buddhist.
Well,
Right.
that's not the middle way, dude. The middle way. Hello. It's called
Definitely not the middle way.
It's not the middle way.
No, that doesn't sound like much fun.
No.
No,
Like,
not really.
Buddha. Okay, look, that's the whole point. In Buddha, he tried the extreme self-denial thing. Didn't work. Oh, first of all, it was indulgence of the world. He had all the women he wanted. He could eat and then gorge himself on food and just worldly pleasures and everything you could, all these stimulants you could possibly imagine, more and more. And then he's like, something's wrong here. I'm a little, I don't. There's something a little off. Something's not right. So he was seeking what the answer might be. It's greater, deeper truth. And there already was an established kind of forest wanderer tradition. I'm not sure what they call the Brahmins or what have you, but yeah, they would go out and just kind of engage in things like what you're talking about in the most extreme form, like self-denial, like food and water, and I practice some kind of meditation where you're mindful, you're aware of like the busy thinking nonsense, the monkey mind, and then because I guess at that point you've already realized that, wait a minute, I am not my thoughts. There's something more going on here than just these thoughts. As far as who am I? What am I? And ultimately, for this to achieve the goal of making friends, union, meaning yoga meaning union. So within ourselves, making friends. Carl Jung might have referred to as individuation, with the balance of the anima, animus, the male, female qualities that we all have. And if there's one thing you would assume that we want to achieve in this life, it's some kind of balance. So, and then ultimately liberation from the wheel. But he went from just immersing himself in the world and indulging in all worldly pleasures to then the other extreme, self-denial. And then ultimately he realized that, wait a minute, neither of these are correct. So he came about to see that it was the middle way approach. And that even includes, like, when you're a monk, presumably, you have to be mindful of that, right? And there are corrupt monks. Like, let's be straight here. Like, I'm not happy when I read these stories about you got gay monks, you've got monks that are just like, they're very materialistic. They're caught gambling, doing God only knows what. They're just corrupt. And that's one of the reasons Hyunkak Sanim left South Korea. He was a famous Western American kind of Zen practitioner, and he just, after a number of years, left in disgust because of the corruption that he saw, the mismanagement and mishandling of, because there's a lot of money that does come their way, that people, they want to offer support to the monks and monasteries with the understanding that it will be of benefit to everyone. It'll be put to good use and good ends. So, a couple more minutes here, folks.
To me, it sounds like you were talking about some of the stuff I was talking about when it comes to samsara too, like the animal realm and the human realm.
Right. Yep. Good point. Yeah. Hell, jealous gods. That's right. Yeah. Gully rat. Viking bloodlines reportedly preserve the Irish along today's Great Britain. Well, yeah, the original Aryans, the Irish, right? The Irish and Iran. Academics have pointed that out too. There's more of a connection than what people might realize. So, just scrolling up here to see, we got Vinny, Sonia, Jane Fair over on Facebook. Amos Dale, just multiple kind of miscellaneous comments. 10 folks altogether. That's great. It's what we're seeing. And people, log in, folks. You always have these, not really stragglers, just lurkers more than anything, that are not really keen on making themselves known for whatever reason. Don't be shy, folks. We don't bite.
Well, hopefully they're entertained.
Pardon me?
Hopefully they're entertained.
Everyone's entertained, informed, yeah. Some sort of.
Speak for yourself. I'm hungry.
Christian, we haven't heard much. And Christian, let's not forget you. Yeah, we got 2 minutes. You can step away for get, a bit of a snack or whatever, refresh your coffee. Christian, we haven't heard from you, man. Come on, jump in there. We don't want you to bail on us. You're equally welcome. 2 minutes.
Yeah. Did you guys heard about like the Canadian new minister that's wants to ban like free speech?
Carney?
He wants to ban free speech. That's one of the first things that he's changing.
He said that literally?
I'm not joking. Look at I sent a video and I wrote "that's bad" in the comments.
Well, Alberta's going.
Take 2 minutes and check this out. You'll be like, "What the fuck?"
Canada's, if that's the case, Canada's finished. So he's and this is the guy who destroyed the British banking system too. Remember, if you look at the history of the British banking system the last number of years, he was at the helm as the governor of the Bank of England, I guess. And now they put him in power, and they've got the king coming to make the throne speech in a short while. Hasn't happened since 1977, I guess, under old man Trudeau. And on top of that, Christian, did you hear about the $40 billion that they found that disappeared from Canadian taxpayers' coffers that I guess was redirected into helping to prop up this phony liberal campaign, the big red machine of Carney's?
Yeah, I heard about
$40 billion.
They're keeping it low though down here, but I've heard about it. So
20 seconds, folks. Sorry if they shut us down here. We'll call you back though after the commercial break.
So the native also I think they're backing up.
There we go. Isn't that just lovely? That's how the new teams is operating. And you can bet that what they're going to do here over time, you would imagine, they're just going to put the squeeze on us. From the standpoint of less and less. It's like the bait and switch kind of deal where you offer a reasonable amount to begin with. And if you're not generating enough revenue, you start to find ways to carrot and stick, I guess, right? Compel people to fork over a little more cash or a little more coins or something in the way of doubloons, something that we unfortunately don't have a whole heck of a lot of, folks. To be quite honest, it would be great. I know there's a lot of people out there do share links and do pass word along to friends, family, and coworkers, but we really do struggle here every year to just simply do what it takes to keep the lights on, the water running. On top of that, though, of course, we are wholly committed to, there's the Ostaveg, the Viking Silk Road. Oh, look at that big Star of David there. I wonder what that's all about. Historically, might that have anything to do with why there's not much talk about the Viking Silk Roads? So all the way from Islamic regions via India through Turkey, the Eastern Mediterranean, ancient Lebanon, Syria, you name it. And that's one of the places actually Ashoka dispatched his envoys or emissaries to back in the day. The great Emperor Ashoka, it has been said and actually recorded via history makes it quite clear. So just imagine what history does not make so clear, and how the whole ultimate mind control agenda has been pursued and ultimately weaponized throughout the years. Term government itself, translating as mind control, governmente, to control the mind. And I so often I cannot help but ask myself, who controls your mind? Is it you or some other external third party force or entity? I like to think of myself as semi-autonomous, for crying out loud. You know, semi-autonomous. Autonomous means self-naming, rather than having others, dictate to me or anyone else what they should or must think and believe. So, as was touched upon earlier, the old expression, let your conscience be your guide. And with me, and it's been a long, journey to this point throughout 50 some odd years of wandering and wondering, contemplating, reflecting, allowing the conscience to be the guide, studying, assessing, and just trying my best to understand the world, human nature, the dark side, and the more, how would one put this now? Well, the lighter, I suppose, more angelic, less selfish. And it's difficult to get beyond that, or to overcome, to become an overman, an Ubermensch, Superman. Something which, Nietzsche himself, he did compare the Buddhist bodhisattva to this Superman type uh, character. If only we could all, or at least more of us, work to strive to embody, the virtues and characteristics of what would, over time, help to make the world a little better place. But ultimately, that aside, I guess it just really it's our responsibility to do what we can to better manage our internal space, not to get all hung up on what's taking place via what we perceive to be the wider world of external phenomenon, but that which manifests and arises within our own spiritual domain. Having said that, let us remind you, in case you were not already aware, that our weekly World Pirate Radio News sponsors include the likes of Red Dragon, Herbs and Teas, and CannaSense Cannabis Collective. For any order of $25 or more, you will immediately receive a 10% discount. All you have to do is simply let Ryan know one of two things, either Pirate Radio or Pirate Code, and that will help to immediately unlock a 10% discount. While over on the CannaSense Cannabis Collective front, 5813 is our referral code. So do take note of that. We'll be back in just a flash here. Folks, don't touch that radio dial or computer mouse.
Medical cannabis is now legal by telemedicine. Get the medicine you need by getting reviewed for a medical cannabis card. Contactless appointments available at CannaSense.com. For as low as $39, you can get reviewed for a medical cannabis card. That's CannaSense.com for a licensed medical cannabis doctor review. CannaSense.com has all the information you need to get connected with a doctor for a $39 medical cannabis appointment. CannaSense.com. CannaSense is common sense.
Catering exclusively to the Des Moines, Iowa area and beyond, Red Dragon Herbs and Teas is a small, family-owned business dedicated to the creation of only the finest quality artisan herbal tea blends. Drawing upon many of the world's most richly established customs and traditions, Red Dragon Herb's mission is about more than just getting their products out to the market. They also strive to help educate their customers on the wider benefits, history, and folklore of all their plants. Of course, any seasoned pirate knows when they're fixin' to tango with the Kraken, you best be powered up with at least one of the finest select quality premium items freely offered via Red Dragon Herbs and Teas wide inventory. Choosing from any of their caffeine-free, headache relief, or rest and relaxation blends, history has proven their products among the best sources of scurvy prevention and vitamin supplementation. Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief.
Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief. Welcome back, everybody. This is the back end, essentially, the final segment that we have to offer you this go around. Show number 317 of World Pirate Radio News. Special focus and attention given this week to the fact that it's Buddha's birthday. Vesak, I believe, is what it's known as. I'll try to bring this up here, actually, on screen. See, some of these more esoteric foreign terms I'm not all that familiar with, unfortunately. Not as much of a scholar as one would hope. But I believe the term is Vesak. Yes, I'll try to bring this up on screen share once we call back our team of fellow pirate mateys here. Not sure how long this is going to last, actually. Maybe another hour. But as we mentioned, via the front end of things, Jitsi could very well be a viable alternative, or something at least that we could turn to as a backup to running simply with teams each and every week. So okay, get you to mute. Hang on a second there. Mute out your
okay.
Your speakers. Speakers, actually.
Yeah, you know what it is, Jaffe?
There's
when they let you back in.
Go ahead.
When they let you back in, they leave the speakers open instead of having them closed.
No idea.
Which I guess is a convenience for some, but.
Oh, okay.
Mark's already in the chat,
So, yeah, people have to maybe cut us a little slack this go round. Am I off camera now? Can anyone see me? Or?
You are now.
I thought you can't see me now, can you?
Right.
Well, not now.
Just the avatar in the background, right? I believe.
We saw you on camera just before.
Well, you did, but not now. Yeah. You can't. So
not now.
I'm just going to bring this up, a little screen share for the the outside world regarding Vesak. Once again, I'm not sure. I'm assuming some of you were listening. Zoom in a little bit. It's Buddha's birthday festival marking the birth of the Buddha. Vesak, known as Buddha Jayanta. Purnima, Vesak Botea, Buddha's Day, holiday traditionally observed by Buddhists in Southeast Asia, as well as Tibet, Mongolia, among them Korea too, I guess, right? So it's great. We have all these little lotus lanterns lining the streets of the cities here. It's really beautiful. It adds to it provides a great spirit to what makes Korea the country that it is, and along with the blossoming of the lotus trees and just the spring air and atmosphere. Even though it is a little, whoops, where are we getting that echo from? We're gonna mute ourselves out. Okay, did they take care of that? Who was that? Was that Christian again? Maybe. So we got Mark here now. See, we can't. We have to add. We could add him. This is the first time we'll have talked to him, but what we'll have to do is drop somebody. So maybe we'll get rid of David.
I already did.
We'll get rid of someone
I already
here.
dropped somebody. You
already
still have a 20.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I dropped that one dude who isn't very nice anyway.
oh, who's that? Oh,
well, I'm not going to name any names.
I will.
I'm sure you would approve.
No, I won't say anything. I'll try to, I think I know who you're talking about, and we'll leave that.
Yeah, let's jump in for a sec.
Pardon
you might
me?
have noticed that, I had a bit of an echo as well, because when this conversation first started, I got a contact through Skype. Skype called me, and that's where I started the conversation. Yeah, it's really weird. So Skype's still sort of active. Wasn't that supposed to be turned off?
That's a good point.
I changed it now. I'm on the Teams thing, but yeah. Weird,
okay.
That.
Hey, let's not forget Element as well.
On another point, I was curious about what you were saying before. Is today Buddha's birthday?
Yeah, kind of. It's a sort of it runs for a few days, I guess. So
yeah. Funny enough, today is actually my birthday too.
Well, you are the Buddha.
Yeah, I'm 62 today.
Mm-hmm.
Getting old and still good looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. Anyway, I've had a good day so far, and I'll shut up now. But I'm just thought I'd say good day, and that's my story so far. Okay.
Well, it's interesting, all kidding aside, that there is a well-known expression that, they say you are the Buddha. Sort of like in the line with namaste. You know how the Indians say namaste?
I've always felt like I haven't studied any of this Buddha type stuff or anything like that. But to me, I go on what I feel. And to me, it sounds like it feels about right. That sort of, ideals are where it's not about a god or anything. It's about yourself, basically.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it for sure. You don't need any gods, and you don't need to worship Buddha. You can hopefully respect what he discovered. He woke up. That's the whole thing. He woke up to the dream state that the human experience is said to entail or otherwise encapsulate. So that's definitely.
And if you're lucky, you have a good experience.
Right. Well, and that depends on your karma, doesn't it?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. Yeah, well, life's pretty good for most of us. I'm just generalising here.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But most of the world's population is having a worse time than us.
Mm-hmm.
I say that all the time.
Okay. I think I figured out how to add Mark. Go ahead.
I'll shut up now. I'll talk to you later. I'll be listening.
Maybe I should kick him out or something. He's already here. I think he's already here. He's here, but he's just not connecting for some reason. So
I tried to add him, and it just blinks on and off for me. So I don't know. Be like that, right there.
Let's see what's Anyways, okay.
Maybe you can hear the master.
Oh, here we go. This might do it now. I just sent a request to join. I think that.
Yeah.
It's this new feature. I don't know. Try it again. It looks like it's doing something there. Anyways. Okay.
Now, are you adding him, or are you trying to send a request to Mark
A request to join.
Edworthy?
Yeah.
Is it Edworthy or
no?
because like I'm getting Mark Edworthy's picture when it's going out.
No,
Really,
it's the other Mark. Mark
Yeah.
Wachowski or Wachesnik.
Wojciech.
I think it's probably a Polish name actually.
Watashik is what it is.
Yeah.
Watashik.
What was your
That's
plan? Watashik. Okay, what was your plan, Roger? Weren't you thinking that you were wanting to get us together and do some sort of a show at some point?
Friday, bro.
It was supposed to be you and John G from Censorship Sucks, but that was a while ago. I'm not doing that stuff anymore. It is freaking insane, dude. Like,
yeah, you know how I feel exactly. Well, yeah, it's booking, co-production. Yeah.
I mean, it's just weird.
Well, why is that?
Because it's weird. Well, I've tried it with you and John, and then Nancy. I tried to get her set up with another guy that I know.
Nancy who?
Nancy Planeta. I tried to set up a meeting between her and Michael Paul from England, and all of it just fell apart. It was like, oh my God. Michael Paul has to do it early in the morning on England time, and that's like 4 or 5 in the morning here. Just crazy stuff like that.
Well, yeah, we're just scattered like seeds, all blown to the 4 worldly winds.
International love affair.
Sure. Yeah. Better that than hate, I guess, right? So, all right. Do you want to, and we might be doing a Friday night feature show this week. It's up in the air. I really don't know. Just people have to be patient and see what comes up. I definitely know I would feel more committed on that front as we have over the past. This is our 10th year as up until now, but everything we've put together to this point is all just thousands of hours of free content. And right now life is short. I'm in my mid-50s, not exactly knocking on heaven's door, but it's like death could come at any moment, right? They say what, one foot in the grave and the other one on a banana peel.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my God, what the hell was that?
We got Axl Rose here in the wings, actually.
Axl Rose, bro.
Via Brooklyn. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, let's we can pivot and transition a little bit now. David Lee Roth, Axl Rose is one character, but David, because we all enjoy rock, and hopefully most of us are. Is everyone open to all sorts of music? Country, bluegrass, folk, blues, reggae, jazz? I mean, hard rock.
I like country and western.
Yeah, there's only 2 types of music, Alan, right? Country and western. Yeah, that's right. In the eyes of some, that's right.
There's even times where I actually appreciate a bit of classical music. You got to be in the right mood.
Talk to Vinny. Yeah, Vinny loves that classical stuff, and my wife.
Oh, mate, because music, it's all vibration.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
I like Wagner. Wagner does it for me. The Nazis kind of spoiled it, but whatever. Wagner's
and resonance. Cool. Don't forget the resonance.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
I like vibration better. You know what I'm talking about.
Mozart was, yeah.
Sorry. Oh my!
I hope that's not directed at any of the guys. Our little cabin boy disguised, our cabin girl actually disguised as Sonia. You know how many? And that's the thing. Back in the day, so many. There would be. I think there was more than one woman. They say it is bad luck to have a woman on board. just how the story goes, right? But
You know why?
how many women disguised as like cabin boys, right? So they're probably more than a few. And
I seen a movie about
Mhm.
that once.
Mm-hmm.
It was a porno, dude.
Oh boy.
It was about this.
TMI.
These. Oh, okay.
No, we get it. That would be good. So was it softcore?
Oh no.
They went all the way,
No.
didn't they? Oh,
It was
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pirates. What was it? The Pirates? No. I forgot the name of it.
Pirates of Carnal Knowledge.
No. What the heck was the name of it? It was Pirates of something.
Mm-hmm.
They had tons and tons of porn chicks on there.
What kind
Forgot
of
the name.
chicks or chips?
Chicks. I forgot the name of it though. It was actually pretty popular back in the day when it first came out.
Okay, speaking of which, has Ron Jeremy been released from prison? I think he was, as with who's that other the Jewish Hollywood industry mogul, Harvey Weinstein. Isn't he kind of working toward having a sort of?
Yeah, they said his health is deteriorating and they're thinking about letting him out. So.
Well, both of them actually. They're it's the health card angle that they're playing. So, yeah. Well, okay. I have really no comment because I don't know enough about either of the cases. Although there seem to have been multiple, charges and allegations. Like not just a few, but like with Cosby, numerous launched against them that did not reflect well. Obviously, go ahead, Sonia. You got your hand raised.
Hi. Well, I was just trying to get Mark in, and apparently I can't do it because it's moderated. You have to. So if you go to the share at the top, maybe you can share the link with him or something, or I'm not sure. But he's waiting.
Okay, well, I'll keep trying. It's kind of a weird way to do. I'd rather just bring him on this Friday, tell you the truth. If we could manage that, like get him on, in the feature slot capacity, have it done like right now in real life time. Boom, he's booked.
I don't know.
Well, see what he thinks.
Do both.
Can you guys you guys can see this, got the screen share. I think that's going out. Got that looking okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mark, yeah, the stop sharing. Just what did it do when you went to add to
okay, here's people, 5 participants. Here's what worked before. Yeah. And just type in Mark, and we did add him. Why is this not respond? There we go, right there. Boom. And see, it does this now. It does that reaction.
That's what it did to me.
See, it kind of like he's in, he's out. He's in, he's out. So that's we don't know what's going on. He's in, he's out.
It sends a quick message and then it stops.
So
it did that.
We all have him on our contact list too, right?
I've got him, yeah. Now, even on the side when you go to participants, it says request to join, and you go to click on that, and it does the same thing, but it freaking it just does it real quick. Does that make sense?
Oh, sure. Has everybody had a chance to? So, Mark, if you're out there listening, we'd love to have you on as a featured guest this Friday. Let us know. We'll get you set up. What do we look for, Sonia? You've been helping out as co-producer over the last little while and merchandise director. Let's not forget. So everyone should have a title here. Just everyone choose an area that you'd like to kind of become more actively involved in, and chances are the captain will. There's not much that he vetoes. He green lights almost everything. It seems it's pretty easygoing sort of guy. Go ahead. Go ahead, Vinny.
Well, I'll nominate myself head of media outreach. since
that's great.
I just today established an account on VidMax, of all places.
What's it called?
VidMax.
Okay.
It's one of those video sites that has all the crazy, insane videos. So now they're going to have my crazy, insane videos. And what a time for all this to happen. Because, well, Jeffy, I've mentioned to you off the air, because this is not something to talk about, but it is now to talk about on the air about the continuing Charlottesville online PSYOP.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it blew open last night. There's a public figure. We're gonna make it nameless right now. We're gonna see how far this is gonna escalate.
Everybody would recognize this person, their name.
Absolutely, absolutely. So they had someone simping for them and making excuses, but hardly excuses for their behavior, and just closing their eyes and putting their fingers in their ears, literally, to avoid confronting the fact that they're bargaining from a hard posture. You know, it's sort of like being shamed for doing good things. So, just some kind of interesting stuff going on.
What, you're not going to name drop? Wouldn't it be helpful in this context to do so?
Well, remember I told you that when Trump got elected over 8 years ago, I texted him 2 words: never telegraph. I wasn't around for John Fitzgerald Kennedy because I would have done the same thing for him. Because remember when he says, "I'm going to scatter the CIA to the..."
Right, yeah.
Yeah, how about doing it before you say it, right?
Well, yeah, that's true. It's like, I'm going to kill you. It's like a real, someone that's really serious, they never say that. You have no idea.
Not if you're serious.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of serious, I wanted to make that point about seriousness. So there's a guy, I should say his name, but I'm gonna make it fun, right? He's talking about he wants to do serious shows. Hey Jaffe, how'd you like to go see a guy who does shows about information that's 5 years old every day?
Is that what he's doing?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He LARPs as a white nationalist. He talks all this crap, and he's just a bunch of garbage. He's talentless. Really, what he should do his show with a dunk tank, okay? And if you make the right donation, he just drops right in the tank, okay? That would be entertainment. Leave it at that.
So is this someone that you've known? So this is someone that's been part of live streaming culture and social media for some time?
Yes. If you go to my channel, you'll know all about it. The thing is, I think people were mostly annoyed with some of these posts because they didn't know what the heck I was talking about, right? But this guy that I'm talking about has been trying to suborn the white nationalist organizations all over the place, right, for years, and we right, the trogs, right, and now I'm saying too much here, right, but the trogs have found out all this stuff, right? The trogs are not putting up with any of this crap. It's amazing. If you see some of the videos, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Read the descriptions is what I say. Read the descriptions. All the information I'm trying to give you is all in the descriptions. What I did was I repurposed some of his videos. What he tried to do was he tried to use Chat GPT to own us, as they say, and he failed spectacularly. Right? It's horrible what he did. Basically, okay. You know about Odyssey? You know Odyssey doesn't have a money processor.
They're screwing us on our wallet these days, man. They're totally screwed. We don't get any credit anymore. We've got to go to the archive shows that we've put on throughout the years. We have to delete them so that then the money, I guess, or the digital credit that was linked to that show can then reappear in our wallet, supposedly. So then we can actually publish content. Otherwise, without any credit, guess what? You can't publish content.
Yes, that's happened to me a couple of times. So Jaffe, first of all, tell me, How much do you need to keep your entire catalog afloat there? Do you know?
Well, to keep
Right?
it afloat?
I mean, for you to keep going, for you to keep publishing as you wish.
Well, it's just no. Like, if you want to publish new content, you need their in-house digital credit.
Your point is right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're putting the squeeze on. You know, it's like the bait and switch, but it's just there. You know, we reserve the terms and conditions. We reserve the right to change the kind of parameters at any point that we so choose. Frankly.
Well, Jeffy, until they start actually doing physically the human centipede, I think we can work with it, right?
What are you talking like South Park human like apple centipede? That
well, listen, that's what they'll eventually get to, right? Because remember, this is all a humiliation ritual.
You think so, huh?
Have put us through all this time for 111 years. It's all over.
Yeah, and that's why I'm kind of backing off, dialing down a little bit as far as like, okay, X, even bloody X. First it was like what? It was Twitch, gone. 2 Discord accounts, gone. And then, endless grief and nonsense via the big Red YouTube machine. And Red is there for a reason, folks. Trust me. So make that connection. And then X, free, not so free speech Elon, not so free speech Musk. Both of our X accounts suspended, gone.
I can't figure out why you're off. How am I on and you're off?
Man.
Makes absolutely
well. Here's the thing. There's actually a cottage industry in kind of tracking down accounts that you can target. These people do this, and they make chicken feed. They make there's a little documentary I was watching a couple weeks ago how they go about doing this, and they use it through the CAPTCHA, that whole CAPTCHA nonsense.
Yes,
now,
yes.
I'm not sure if it's always humans that are behind that, and they're kind of policing. They have a system in place where they've signed on as kind of the people behind the scenes running the show when it comes to deciding whether your content is offensive or violates or blah da da da. Any reason you can come up with, and needs to be with either on a basis of algorithm approach or more extreme, just to be taken offline and deplatformed. But
see, that's the thing though. But Jeffy, who decides what's offensive?
That's right? What they're doing. That's what I don't know. And they got the capture thing, and it seems, I'm not sure. I think they're getting rewarded every time that someone's content is taken down, that they get these digital peanuts, basically.
Well, there's a whole established infrastructure around us, right?
Yes.
That runs.
Right.
It runs independent of us, right? And yet we should be interacting with it, right? Because they're taking from us, right? But,
totally. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, so net neutrality. It's a direct assault on net neutrality. Okay, you've heard me talk about net neutrality in the past. The way we're endless, the gaslighting, the framing of these issues, man-made climate change, fake. The Mockingbird media, fake, total joke. The kill shots. I mean, come on, like the way that they're framed, and they try to sell to the public. Go ahead. Who was that? Was that Roger? Sorry about that.
Yeah,
that was Roger. I do want.
Go ahead,
Roger.
Roger.
I just want to say the $150 trillion trust fund. Is it true, or do you think it's a lie?
Haven't heard about it, Roger. We'll come back to that in a moment or two. Roger, Go ahead, and let's not forget we have the talking points in the chat end of things here, so do check that out, okay? In case you're looking. Yeah, go ahead, Roger.
Me, Tan, and Mark, as well as Naroki, actually have been really talking about this a lot when it comes to these servers and these platforms. When it comes to it, you also have to take into consideration they do their censoring and they try to blame it on the advertisers. The advertisers don't approve it. But if you go and you look deeper into it, you'll find out that all of these advertisers are also suing these platforms because they're freaking not giving them what they're supposed to be giving them. So that makes you start looking deeper into it, and you start noticing companies like Stripe, who does freaking know your customers.
Total CCP, apparently, the Stripe outfit, you know that? It's all run by China, apparently.
You know, and that's what they do. They go through, and like when you're streaming on these platforms and you're being monetized through Stripe is going through and they're freaking actually looking at your profiles, and they're determining if you freaking have stuff that they don't approve of or
Yeah.
they do approve of.
That's one of the reasons we're keeping our content listed over on via BoobTube under the entertainment category. I think you suggested that, Roger, that we do that. So we're sticking by that. And you know, BitChute, we're getting good numbers over on BitChute. Even better on via Fakebook. Sometimes you look, it's like, holy shit, we got 300-400 people that have checked out the show that we've done here for whatever reason. I guess a lot of people helping to share the links, ideally, or what have you. But YouTube is it's some of the lowest numbers of all, really. And even Odyssey's taking off a little bit as compared to how it was in the past. But we're not getting we're not being compensated, so yeah, the advertising dollars. And I think they're shooting themselves in the foot by punishing content providers. YouTube, last point, we worked our way up to 1,000 subscribers. We worked for years to reach that threshold, okay? No, not buying any fake, dare I say, followers, like fake supporters, shall we say, or subscribers.
Isn't that insane?
As soon as we reach that 1,000-member subscriber threshold, demonetized.
Right. Yep. Nonsense. So speaking of that, right? So Odyssey doesn't have a processor anymore. Well, the guy I told you about is responsible, but Jeffy, he insists that I and my friends are, when it's completely provable that he is.
Well, you're talking about this other fellow that you were referencing just a few minutes ago. Is that he's 5 years behind as far as his talking points are concerned, and he's kind of strawmans. He's strawmanning a lot, and ad hominem attacks probably, and all that kind of good stuff. Got it right on the... This guy's like he's a poop disturber, and we know where those people come from typically. What community, how they're sent in to stir up the shit, right? So
there you go, much better.
Well, Carlin talked about like profanities, like it's like him and weed, very judicious use of weed.
But it feels good though. It feels good. Okay.
What the 7 words you can't say on TV?
Just say shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Well,
not poop. Poop is like a word that babies say. You know what I mean? Like when you say the word.
Look,
when you say shit, you're like.
Yeah, you're just spewing a whole lot of meaningless caca. Yeah. That's just a lot of caca.
That's worse.
It's verbal
that's
caca,
worse than poop.
Roger. No, that's no. I love caca. Well, it's all subjective, isn't it? So, but yeah. There's something more I was going to add to that. What the hell was it now? I'm just yeah. So, but go ahead. Who's next? Alan? What do we? We had some good stuff in the comment section here. Sorry about that, Gully Rat. We were going to get to you here. He was really letting loose in a big way. So, just Red Dragon was a book written by Thomas Harris before writing The Science of the Lambs. Well, I mean, it's a trope. It's actually probably a prototype or archetype, Red Dragon. I think it's actually, you find it in the Book of Revelation too, if I'm not mistaken. Don't blame us. That's just how it is. Hey, numbers are looking pretty good here as well too, via the live stream. Sign in, folks. A lot of lurkers out there. Not, you can connect via DLive, Telegram, YouTube, homenetwork.tv. You can catch the feed. You can't engage us in the chat end of things, and Facebook too. So there's several opportunities there for people to engage, and we're thinking of maybe even running with, at some point here, probably not too far down the road, Jitsi, no time limits, and just a few other features that are probably a little more attractive than what we're looking at here with Teams, although we will leave the Jitsi link in Teams for people to click on in conjunction with every show that we do. That's all you have to. That's all it's required, folks. Click on the Jitsi link through Teams if you can't find where the show is for that week, and you'll be able to be a part of what we work on putting together here. It's kind of like the weekly gathering, essentially, to see who's around, who's interested in connecting, and having their not just stories shared, but maybe take on latest news events. Of course, Do Better, actually, someone that comes to mind. Let's give him a shout out. Chris out there on the road, pedaling his ass off to God only knows where exactly, all the way from Key West, I guess, up the, the eastern seaboard, essentially, of the state. So hope he's doing well, and, don't be a stranger. Chris, we'd like to hear from you again before your trip is concluded. But let's, Gully Rat was really letting loose here in a big way. So let's read off the, and these are the super chats that other live streamers do. Oh, we got a super chat coming in from Gully Rat, and it's like, oh, thank you, it's $5, $10. Whereas with YouTube demonetizing us, they immediately made it so that it's more difficult for us now to cover our basic operating expenses. Not a good thing at all. We really have to struggle even more, unfortunately. But this is a public service,
Well,
obviously.
Can I jump in there for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, mate, there might be a possibility of being monetized. You might just have to look into it more, if you know what I mean. Like go through your settings and profiles and
request like a second look on their part.
Things like that.
Ask them to take another look.
Could work, couldn't it?
Maybe. I guess, you know what? You're right. You're right, Alan. And the thing is, like with Discord or X, or these other places where Twitch, once we get kicked off and they act like total assholes, basically, in the way that they go about, like, oh yeah, we're gonna shut these people down. We don't like what they're shut down. So just people throwing their weight around. We've never done that when we moderate groups or anything of the sort, forums via, we're very laissez-faire, hands off, other than death threats, spam, which we're finding a lot of on Minds. We wish there was more people helping out via Minds, because we're tied into a lot of groups there. And if anyone has any questions,
so what, you want more death threats?
Did you receive something recently?
No, not really.
Oh,
I said, do you want more death threats?
Death threats, spam, or like pro-pedophilia nonsense. That's just, but outside of that, it's like, go at it, folks. Just try to maintain some sanity and civility to your dialogue and have fun.
Yeah.
That's apparently that's what life's for, apparently, just have fun and enjoy.
Don't hurt anyone. Don't hurt anyone while you're doing it.
There you go.
Enjoy yourself as much as you can.
Well, yeah.
That's the main thing as far as I'm concerned.
Life is more
have a good time, but don't hurt anyone.
Well, no, that'll come back to you. Like that will. Mark my words. It will come back to. It comes back to all of us, and sometimes we have to learn. Well, we all have to learn through experience. Some of us it takes longer than others. I myself, it feels like, school of hard knocks on my part as a young hellraiser, and even though like this whole Buddha Dharma trip, it basically started with me as a kid, and I was going to Sunday school around this time too, but there was an ant pile in our backyard, and I just became fixated, like a hypnotic kind of like semi-trance state where I was just drawn in. I almost became, in some way, the ants. I became part of their community for a brief few moments. And
I've had similar experiences myself, mate, and those experiences are golden when you're in tune to something that you're looking at. That's just, that, mate, our potential is, imagine the potential of the way the people used to be back in, shall we say, Tartarian eras and things like that. The mental state of people, I'm sure they were much happier back then.
I don't know about that really, because there, in some ways, yes, in other ways, no. Think about like the medical support systems and the way that if you contracted a terminal disease or something that was quite serious.
Yeah, well,
see you
a
later.
lot of those terminal diseases have just been developed in the last century or so by the establishment, I think. Like proper frequencies and just eating well, drinking clean water, not get chemtrailed and things like that. That's what leads to healthy people.
Yeah, fewer experimental kill shots
and all the shit in the food, and drink too much beer and smoke and drink. Well, though smoking generally, it's the chemicals in smoking apparently that is the worst part, not the actual tobacco.
And
marijuana, that's got a lot of great properties, hasn't it? Natural herbs.
It depends on the quality, I guess, but mixing of the two is problematic.
A lot of different factors.
They put the chemicals in the cigarettes to kill us. Is what it is.
As a caveat, disclaimer, and reminder to the wider listening public, we are not here to offer any formal medical, legal, or financial advice. Moreover, the views and opinions expressed on behalf of myself as the show's host and our panel of guest commentators do not necessarily reflect those of either our show sponsors or the wider listening audience. So if you have any issues in the financial, medical or legal realms, seek out a professional, licensed expert in one of that field. Talk to your friends. Can we even say that? Talk to your friends, or it's like, oh, you can't say talk to your friends. Just seek out second opinions as well. Like God forbid someone has a medical issue and they only get one opinion. They have this, and it's like, whoops, it wasn't that actually. It was something, you really, okay, see you later. You know what I mean? They only, and then they're gone. It's like, whoops, they got one opinion. No, two, maybe three. Good. And use kind of your cognitive critical thinking skills to weigh the situation. We're in the day and age now where we have access to so much quality information, a lot of disinformation as well too, or
called research.
Pardon me?
It's called research.
I guess so. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, we all sort of do a bit of that, don't we?
Yeah.
And everyone, more people need to turn the bloody TV off and do proper research.
Oh my God, yeah. Hell, we haven't watched television here for 15 years at least, but we do. I do torrents. In fact, that's one thing I'm going to ask you guys. And they're expensive. Maybe what's expensive? Torrents?
Televisions.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Robot, he's actually working. We're working on getting him back on the show. He asked us if we'd have him back on. I said, sure, man. Like anytime, you're welcome. Like, so Roger, if you, I left. I don't know.
You get Jitsi going, and he'll be here definitely.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He loves Jitsi.
That's all people have to do. If we've had you on already and you like to come back, just ask. That Alan, that includes you and all you guys and girls. So, but otherwise, it's like busking season. I'm focused a lot on music and songwriting. I've never been more creative or productive. Like stream of consciousness, the muse, and just allowing just basic rhymes, not to the level or extent that Angel is, say of him what you like. He's a criticism wise, but his rapping ability is great. He's really quite skilled in that area, and I give credit to people where credit is due, regardless of maybe other character flaws.
Did you hear the new update on him?
Is he sick?
Nope, he's going to start actually doing live streams on Rumble.
Good for him.
That's what I said.
Oh, that's the way to do it. It'd be nice if we could do that. Now, which we could, assuming that all we got to do is see, because have they switched things over so that you can just take the key and put it in the OBS, and that's it? You don't have to change it every time you go live?
Well, with
Headache.
the studio, if you use Rumble Studio instead of regular Rumble, you can go in and set up a template, and every time you want to do a show, you just use that template, and it does it for
Yeah,
you.
but are you going to be able to stream through other DLive, Facebook, YouTube?
Yeah.
You can stream
Yep.
through all those other places as well?
Yep.
So
And
what?
it'll do it through X too for free.
X has suspended us for free.
Well,
twice.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's just, I know, but I'm
Assholes.
just like, and I don't even have to go in and like set it up on each of the channels. It just automatically does it, and that's DLive included. It just bam, all of a sudden.
Through Studio Rumble Studio.
Rumble Studio.
So we won't even need OBS anymore. Then maybe is what they're trying to tell us.
Nope. You just like right here, how you have Teams. You take and you share your link on Teams, and whoever wants to come on your show comes on the show by clicking that link, and it takes you right onto the string.
I guess
OBS,
I'll look
no
into it
nothing.
more. We can do a tutorial thing at some point, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And yeah, we could optimize things a little more here, obviously, but it's like we're doing a show kind of today on Buddha Dharma, Taoism, and Buddhism in many ways is a lot more influenced by Taoism than what many people realize. In fact, back in the day, even up to the point of like the Tang Dynasty, and there were campaigns where the emperor would launch like a persecution against the Buddhists. He felt they were getting a little too fat and lazy, too corrupt, and they weren't contributing enough to society. They're just, they were taking more than I guess they were offering. But Taoism Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism during that, even up throughout I believe that from the Han all the way up, which is the time of Christ, and even slightly before, 100 or 200 years prior to Christ, up to like the 8th or 9th century Tang Dynasty in China. The three were often Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. You could ascribe or subscribe or embrace and all three, and it wasn't seen as any real contradiction. Just there's a central concept in the Taoist tradition. Do you know about Wu Wei, don't you, Roger? I bet you do.
No, mostly here lately, other than Buddhism, I've started checking out freaking the Shin religion in Japan.
Oh, frickin'
that's as far as I've gone. Like when it comes to what you're talking about, that's more of a Chinese type religion, isn't it?
Kind of, but I mean, they all do. Ultimately, these streams of consciousness and ideas, they flow, and there might be like national, physical, material borders in place, but I think we have an idea how ideas spread, and that's why, to me, the so-called axial age around the time of Christ and the Han Dynasty was so important as far as what went east and west and just flourished. It burst forth through Alexandria, Egypt, was a real hotbed, and place that, along with the Gandharan region that we touched on earlier. And oh shit, we got 15 minutes, folks. 15 minutes, that's fine. But yeah, Shinto, and Shin in Korean means God, and Do is the way. So like you go to Dogyo is the place you go for Taekwondo, and Dogyo is Taoism. Dogyo is like the way of, I guess, Dogyo, way of the Tao. So Shinto is Shin, but Shinto is was that the religion? Was that the kind of naturalist like religion that preceded Buddhism?
Animism and naturalism,
Shamanism.
Yeah. they were the primordial beliefs
Right.
before
Good.
Buddhism came
Mhm.
along, and that's actually what got me more interested in like a lot of the stuff I've been doing with primordial beginnings is what I call it. Like with Indo-Europeans, they really get into the whole primordial void and primordial ooze and stuff like that.
I'm sorry, who
And
gets into this?
Indo-European
Yeah. Yeah.
beliefs. They're
Oh,
really into it,
well,
and you can see it everywhere. Like Mount Fuji, for example.
I got one for you. Yeah. I
Yeah.
got one for you. Hey, speaking of
Oh.
which, within the context of things here, time is limited, as we just mentioned. So, here's one for everybody listening, whether in real life time or people that check this out via the archived end of things. What is the true face of your original nature before your parents were born? One more time. You can kind of flip it around too if you want. It's like, so what is the original nature of your true face before your parents were born? Or what is the true face of your original nature before your parents were born? It's, meditate on that. It's a kind of, it's really, it helped me just to kind of, with self-reflection and really going within oneself, monkey mind, and, you can even say the shadow work end of things as well, because we all do have that shadow. And as was mentioned earlier, like it's important to make friends with yourself. That's the main goal in Buddhism, making friends with yourself, and then liberation from the wheel of rebirth, unless you want to come back as a bodhisattva, like Christ and many others have done. It's like, oh man, these people, they're just not getting it. I've got to come back again and try to help get them, things straightened out a little bit so they can live happier, less suffering, you know. But yeah, Mount Fuji, let's hear more about that. What are your thoughts?
Mount Fuji. Whenever I was doing my research with Mount Fuji, is I started first of all I started doing research on suicide forest,
Oh God.
and then I realized that Mount Fuji was right there, so I should combine the two in my research. And I found a lot of amazing things out. First of all, the ground in the suicide forest is volcanic rock.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's completely silent in that forest.
Everything's
Then I found out,
dead, dark and dead too, right?
right. And then after I found that out, I found out that there's three basic cave systems that are running through the ground underneath this forest from Mount Fuji. One of them consists of high winds. The other one has freaking moss growing in it, and the way it's made, it drowns out echoes. You can walk in there and say something, and you can't hear your echo. And then the third one is ice. So you have all these elements that are in that area, and coincidentally, people go there to commit suicide. And it's amazing when you start thinking of it on those kind of levels, that kind of primordial spiritual level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's really mind blowing. It really opened me up to a lot of things in all these religions. Like even Moses, when he went up on the mountain to get the commandments, okay, what happened when he got up there? A burning bush. That is
It's an
that's so.
It's an STD. Come on. Everybody knows.
But
Not everybody, So, it's a metaphor. He's a little too sexual in his ways.
that's ancient alchemy,
Yeah.
just to put it out there.
Yeah.
And there is difference between today's alchemy and ancient alchemy.
How about Hermeticism?
Well, Hermeticism would be the newer versions.
Oh
But
yeah.
when you get into things like regeneration, or you get
Rejuvenation.
like yeah, when you get into things like Jesus being resurrected. Resurrection is another form of ancient alchemy.
Mm-hmm. 10 minutes
uh,
left here, folks. 10 minutes. We got to get the comments too. Do you want to just go ahead, wrap up with this business? Because your show, let's give your show a plug, before we, before we say goodbye to, episode 317 of World Pirate Radio News. Put it to bed, put it to sleep, and maybe some of our listeners too. Hopefully, I haven't put too many of them to sleep here in real live time, but managed to enrapture them and engage their interest. So, and Vinny has his hand raised, but just anything further you like to say on the alchemical front, Roger, and your show too.
If you want to see my show, just check it out on Rumble and on YouTube too. It's the Wonderful World of Weirdness. What I'm talking about here is a series that I'm doing called The Cosmic Weave.
Mind's Roundtable, got that going too, don't you?
Mind's Roundtable, and I'm doing another one that most people here wouldn't want nothing to do with. It's called Untethered. It has to do with variety of things. Last one was about politics.
It's a new one, isn't it, or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, look, I find the fact that you've got so many things on the go, it's a little confusing at times. Is there a place where you can find a schedule for your live streams?
Just 5 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Every day?
Except for Mondays and Tuesdays.
When you take a little time off to do some gaming on the side, I guess. Is that right? Yeah. So, okay, good stuff. And we will add, as always, your contact information to the show notes. So thank you once again, Vinny. Always enlightening, Roger. Always very insightful. Thank you so much, Vinny. Yeah, Uncle Murr. Right, so Where'd you get that Uncle Murr character from, anyways?
Uncle Murr. Yeah, Uncle Murray's he's a legend.
Oh, in your Brooklyn neighborhood or what?
No, on the interwebs.
Oh, okay.
And so what I did was I put in the old link of the video that was deplatformed by this gentleman.
Oh, really?
And then another one, which has been untouched because he poisoned the platform. So I don't think they're doing him any favors.
Like poisoning the well kind of deal. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Another standard fallacy. It's a great technique though for people that are, involved in the dark arts. They want shit disturbers and wanting to have people taken offline, such as ourselves. How many accounts now have we had taken down? It's just like, why? Terms and conditions, community guidelines, and then that's all they can say. There's never.
Well, Jackie, they don't have any argument. They have no argument. So all they have is whatever modicum of power they have to abuse. That's it. They can't make an argument for why you shouldn't do what you're doing.
So Canst. So children are not sex toys via BitChute, GMNO over on Minds. And you've got you're expanding a little bit. And what is a title that you would like to adopt once again? Media
outreach.
Okay. Right on.
Well, probably maybe outreach is the wrong term, but But now that I'm on VidMax, it should be interesting.
Yeah, and Shoot Pay.
The blog is sort of a blog, I think. It's probably more appropriate to call it.
PayShoot. They were thinking they're thinking maybe Poop to kick that one off would work, but then after reflecting upon things, no. And definitely.
No. What will happen is a Bigfoot will come out of nowhere to pay you $5,000 or so.
Are you serious? Come on, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, these ridiculous Bigfoot videos. I don't know. I'm open-minded, but not, as I explained to my adult students in Korea here the other day, not so much that hopefully our brains fall out, right? So, oh, Alan, come on, man. And Sonia, who dropped out, unfortunately, she had to take care of some things on the side. And we're going to get around the Gully Rat and his comments here as well. Check that out via the Peanut Gallery end of things. Folks, only 5 minutes, not even 4. Alan, they're going to cut us off here again. So one more reason to work with, bring Jitsi on board here.
Okay, everybody, one of the basic tenets of everything we're talking about is just be good to each other. Yeah. And something you there was in your notes. Chemtrail pilots arrested. Know anything about that?
Their work. No, this is legit. Thank you for raising it. Yeah, no, it's real for sure. And hey, is this something that maybe that we're gonna get? They're gonna want to shut us down for reporting on this sort of things. Exactly. Yeah. So RFK and others, they've got it's a what's it say? Did I Operation Skywatch or something to that effect? It's legit, man. They're going after and they're looking into these bastards that just following orders, dumping these payloads.
We need to get all the followers though.
Chemical warfare, man.
Not just the guys flying the planes.
Chemical freaking warfare. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, we need to get the guys that are giving the orders, not just the guys doing the stuff. Of course, that's bad.
Well, but they will too.
The guys giving the orders.
They will. A chain of command.
The agenda.
Yeah, that's right. Chain of command, just following orders.
It all starts at the top. Yeah, yes.
I got a medal. They gave me a badge. I thought I thought it was I got rewarded, they paid me.
Okay.
They said we were saving the planet. They said we had to block the sun. It would help. It would make everyone healthier and safer.
We're saving the planet for the Jews. I mean, did I say that?
There can only be one.
Masters of the universe, Alan. Oh my God. Oh oh boy.
Highlander.
Masters of the universe. Yeah. Roger.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Highlander.
What?
Highlander 2, they blocked the sun out because they needed to create a force field around the Earth because of global warming.
That's exactly so predictive programming, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
indeed.
Does anyone? I've had people say either. I'm not sure if it's my demeanor or the way I look. Do I appear like the Highlander character guy at all in some ways? My hair is coming back here slowly. I shaved.
You got a little bit of Christopher Lambert in there.
I see it.
You see a bit of Highlander to the visage there.
Yeah.
I don't know. So.
Jeffy McLeod.
Jeffy, you look nothing like the Highlander.
I think we all look like pirates. We're all pirates, definitely digital pirates.
You need to grow a beard.
Not enough testosterone, man. You got me beat on that count. That's all. It's all. You're still a raging, sexual, very masculine machine, Alan. Because I guess that's I can't grow. I mean, I do shave on every couple days but it just I can't grow a lengthy beard.
Well, it took me like nearly 2 years to grow this beard, so it takes time. You can't be in just such a rush.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to keep it kind of trimmed, just a little.
But then again,
30 seconds, folks. They're gonna cut us off. Maybe even sooner. They will do so as last time. We're going to get to the comments, peanut section. We'll live stream for another 2 minutes or so. Thanks for your support, gentlemen. Much appreciated. Right. Much love, no fear. Where do we get that line from? See, DK. Sometimes he gets it right. He gets it right sometimes. even DK. All right. So there they go. They've shut us down. They've kicked us off of Teams. Not exactly the way I'd go about doing things, but it is what it is. So, let's scroll up here now, get to these Gully Rat comments. So, I mentioned the Red Dragon business earlier. Don't get me started about a book. Character Clarice's backstory hints toward my decoding of a century-old artwork. Well, we'd like to hear about that, Gully Rat. Why don't you join us here in real live time at some point? Bring you on board. who knows, maybe even as a Friday night feature guest. Basically, a rebel treasure map. We call the movie scene where special guest Clarice decodes H. Lecter's clue about Louis friends. No, I never watched that movie. Just, they say you are what you eat. And we're not talking about Anthony. I say Anthony Perkins, but what's his surname now? Hopkins, I guess, right? Great actor, but I don't know, horror movies and things of those along those lines. They leave their imprint on our psyche and scars, and we've already got enough suffering and trauma and disturbances through the course of our lives. Why make things any more burdensome, right? So, not just the food that we consume, but also pop culture, media, live streams, dialogue, the way we engage others, and the inner, make this business of making friends with ourselves. Yeah, it's one of the first steps is to stop being so harsh on ourselves, stop beating ourselves up internally. That internal dialogue thing that most people have going on. I talked to one guy once, and he said there was like the lights were on, but no one was home. He seemed like a pretty smart guy too, so I'm not sure what that was all about. He was a generous supporter and donor to the show as well too. Provided us with our largest ever $500, which is yet to be beaten. So, but $500, offering was what he sent us through PayPal. And anyone, hey, it doesn't have to be anywhere near that amount, but Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com is how you do it, folks. You also can hit us up with show suggestions or guest ideas you may have in mind. Half of everything we do manage to generate, whether through that particular means, sale of network merchandise, the digital end of the operation, or what have you, it all goes directly back to the grassroots. So, think about it. Hashtag WWRHD. What would Robin Hood do? Probably him and his merry band of men and women adventurers do what they could to help others out where it was within their means, most definitely. More of the comments as we wind things down. An anagram, mix the letters around, spells iron pyrate, also known as fool's gold. Yeah, I guess that's how the story goes, Gully Rat. Plus a sketch portrayed in the Lambs movie by Lecter of Clarice, a big tell toward my area of interest. Wasn't he a cannibal? Jesus, Gully Rat. Now we're getting weird. But that aside, let's see. We're going to click on this link here. It looks pretty cool. An unhinged meltdown. We'll get this out to the YouTube end of things as well. Or have they shut us down? Those buggers. Yeah, it'd be more critical than that, actually. But no, it looks like, we're going out to YouTube as well. We see Amos 777 hitting us up with a little brief parting comment. So happy sailing to you, as always, Alan. It was a pleasure having everyone join us. Very much enjoy the camaraderie, the spirit of, as we come together and work to unravel what we can, to solve, to generate greater insight, and overcome, enlighten, and that's the thing we never got into at all this week, but enlighten. Two things, as far as I can tell. A lot of people, they think it has mostly to do with this awakening business. The word Buddha itself means simply to, like a bud, I guess, right? Jewel within the lotus, to arise and to awaken, to clear off all the impediments, obstacles, mental obstructions, and to see things clearly. Decoding the matrix, I guess, is a central part of what we're getting at, of course. But secondly, the Satori, Eureka moment. Eureka, Satori, and mental absorption, as we alluded to earlier with the little ants pile story. There's a special term for that as well that escapes me in the present, this mental absorption. Almost in the sense of becoming one with the other, right? Something. But enlightenment, the weight, the song "The Weight" by the band. Take a load off Annie. Take a load off Annie. Take a load for free. Great song, classic, The Weight. But yeah, think about it, folks. Enlightenment. You just take that weight off your shoulders and let it be. It's all right. Just let it go. That's there's a lot. I would argue, there's a lot to be said for that as well when it comes to doing what we can to help bring about and manifest enlightenment. So there's at least two levels. I suspect the combination of Native American and Masonic esoteric understandings and mystery fell into my lap. Would have liked metal for working every night when everyone else was locked down during the scamdemic. I didn't see the movie until many years later, edited toward TV broadcast. So that about does it. Are we going to be back this Friday night with a feature guest? Could be. Hey, reach out to us, folks, if you have someone in mind. But there's a lot of people that are in our orbit at present. It's just we're not overly ourselves anxious, more just kind of hanging back, going out, doing some street busking, enjoying the spring weather and the time that we have off of work to decompress and allow the world, you, the wider listening world, a chance to engage the comprehensive and extensive digital library that we have available through places like BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, YouTube, and Facebook, when they're not censoring. So there's a lot to appreciate, value, and enjoy, I guess, ultimately, where you can learn from, as we all do, of course. So, but yeah, anytime that you find what we have to offer here helpful, entertaining, interesting, enlightening, or what have you, it's definitely something where we appreciate you making any effort you can to give us a bit of a boost in whatever way you find most applicable. So enjoy the rest of your week, of course. Hopefully, once again, everyone did manage to learn a little bit more about the Buddhist tradition, its influence, impact not only on the East but the West. There's so much to get into. Of course, you cannot simply manage to cover it all within the course of just an hour-long sort of freewheeling conversation back and forth. But whatever the case, all the best until we meet again via these high, often all too intrepid digital seas. I'm myself, of course, your host, as always, show's Chief Communications Officer Jaffe Ryder, reminding you, ear to the ground, eyes to the sky. Tally-ho!